Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. So today what I'm going to be talking about is the Mustang Mach E. That's the new electric Mustang, and whether you love or hate it because it's going by the moniker of the Mustang, I think this is going to be a fantastic vehicle, and I think it's going to be incredibly popular. And actually, while I was reviewing the vehicle, it actually got sold. So I will be covering specs. I am going to be covering all the important stuff like battery range, charge times, and of course, pricing. And you know, there's an aspect of this video that you're not going to want to miss out on because I think autonomous driving is going to be very popular in the future. I think people are going to really warm up to the idea. And, you know, if you don't get your Mustang Mach E right, it won't be capable of doing any driving on its own. It won't have that self-driving feature. You got to get the right model. So I'm going to be covering the models from the Select, you know, that's your standard model, all the way to the GT Performance, the extra performance model of the GT, which is already blistering, or some would say lightning fast. So I really want to cover everything that's really important on the Mustang Mach E. And you know, I know this isn't a Bronco video, and that might be surprising if you've seen my recent videos, but there is a Bronco silver lining, I guess you could say, behind all this. I actually went into my local dealership, where I have been saying that some dealers still have allocations for Broncos, and my local dealer did, and they offered me really the privilege, and I'm really thrilled about this. They allowed me to review their very first Mustang Mach E, and it's a beaut. And I think you're going to enjoy the inside and outside review of this vehicle. I'll be covering dimensions to, you know, if you haven't been able to sit in one, because, you know, very likely you're going to go down to your local dealer and you're going to get the same story sort of that I experienced. The vehicle was there. It was for sale for about a big whopping hour from the time it arrived off the truck. Brought it into their area where they take photos, and it got sold while I was filming. So, you know, a lot of us might not get the chance to sit in the vehicle, and that's why I want to cover what kind of dimensions, you know, based on my height and size, that, you know, I'm really hoping this will help you know if this vehicle is a right fit for you. And of course, I really do want to make sure that you don't miss out and you get a very important option that can come with the vehicle, but isn't necessarily going to come with the vehicle. It really depends on which model you get. So I'm going to make sure I cover that really carefully, and we will of course talk batteries, because, you know, that's what this vehicle is all about. So stay tuned, and we'll jump right into it in just a moment. I just want to begin by giving a huge thank you to Valistry Ford for kindly providing me this Mustang Mach E. It's the first one they got in inventory, and, you know, they allowed me to film it, to sit in it, you know, do a full walk around. So I really look forward to sharing this vehicle with you, and I want to share this vehicle with you because my experience of having this vehicle sold about an hour after it arrived and while I was filming is, I think, an experience that a lot of us are gonna go through. We're gonna want to try one out, we're gonna wanna sit in one, and they're just gonna not be available. They're gonna be sold out. So I'm hoping to help you get to the place where you're comfortable ordering one of these without actually having test driven it. And, you know, in regards to test drives, you know, what I can assure you about this vehicle is, you know, I've been watching videos online, and my initial assumptions about how the battery being in the floor would create a very low center of gravity, being that, you know, the weight is all at the bottom of the vehicle. I really did expect this to be a complete hoot and a blast to drive, and, you know, everyone seems to be reviewing it that's getting to drive one, that it is a blast to drive. Handling from Ford, you know, no doubt with their advanced torque vectoring, handling is fantastic, and handling in adverse conditions such as, you know, heavy rain or snow is obviously, going to be great in this vehicle. I've test driven so many other Fords and have had absolutely no issues in the snow whatsoever. I'm really confident about this vehicle's, real sporty drive. Now for the rest of the video, what I want to cover is first impressions that I had for the vehicle. I want to go over some pricing and different packages. I did mention that there's a must-have package that you don't want to miss out on, so I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover power, I'm going to cover range, I'm going to cover interior space, and of course that touchscreen, and I will quickly review charging. So let's get right to it. My initial impressions. Now, I thought this vehicle would kind of be pretty much like an SUV, and honestly, any SUVs in the sportier SUV of today isn't always what I get the most excited about. I'm really excited about the Bronco. I love my Mustang, so I love sports cars and I love trucks. But this really surprised me. This black roof that they added on the vehicle really does help make the vehicle look more like a sports car, and I thought this would be a towering high vehicle, but when I stood beside it, I didn't feel like it was a tall SUV. I just kind of felt like it was a pretty high sports car. And back to the whole driving aspects, it's going to drive like a sports car, and that's why I kind of want to talk about power. I do know that electric cars these days are being bought by people who are all about saving the environment for a good part of it, but I do want to touch on that later, because power is important. But first impressions, the vehicle is powerful, it's got great road handling, and it's beautiful. Now to the pricing. So a Select starts at $42,895 US, and as promised, I'm going to mention what you really need to get. You need to get this vehicle with the tech package, because if you don't get this vehicle with the tech package, and by the way, that means it does come with, it's a two-piece package, it's comfort and technology. Well, the technology isn't just going to give you fun, useful things like the electric tailgate. It's going to come with one very important piece of equipment, and that's the Prep 2.0 package, and that's preparing you for self-driving. Well, maybe nothing's going to prepare you for self-driving, but what I should really say is it prepares the vehicle for self-driving. So, I love to drive, but sometimes, you're tired, you have a long commute, and, you're sleepy. So maybe your full focus isn't on the road. So I think this is, a great safety feature that, we're all going to get used to and we're all going to rely on in the future. So if you do want that, you have to get the tech package. And anyways, it comes with the comfort package, which gives you important things like an electric tailgate, heated seats, a heated steering wheel, as well as an electric driver's seat and the manual passenger seat, so that the manual passenger seat, it can go up, down, back, and forward. Now, keep in mind that all Mach E's come really well equipped. Now, they don't come, the basic, the Select, the standard doesn't come with a heated seat and steering wheel. That's when you get one of these two packages I've been talking about. But it does come with blind spot detection, a lane keeping system, a rear view camera, auto high beams, so your high beams go on and off on their own, reverse brake assist, reverse sensing system, as well as post collision braking. That means if you make contact with another vehicle, and you pass out because of the airbag or you hit your head, whatever it may be, the vehicle is going to start braking itself. So that's a great bundle of safety features that come standard on the vehicle. Now, so far, what we've been seeing in the video is a tech comfort package. These packages cost about 3,300 Canadian, so they're going to be should be a little under 3,000 US. And the appearance package, which gives you, the bottom of the vehicle, it has a painted gloss look instead of a plastic look, and the mags are, the mags from the premium. So you've got a really premium look when you get the premium comfort package, and it's $1,000 less. So that's interesting. And something to keep in mind on the Select is you should get somewhere around 230 miles of range off the standard battery. with rear wheel drive. Now, if you do go with an all-wheel drive, you lose about 50 kilometers or about 30 miles. I'll post the math right down there. And you should have an acceleration time from that 268 horsepower engine of 5.2 seconds. But here's the thing, that's your acceleration time if you get the all-wheel drive. And here's the real hiccup. The all-wheel drive gets you almost about 100 pound-feet of torque more for getting an all-wheel drive model. And the option isn't that expensive. So I think it's the deal of the century. Usually automakers charge, $5,000 to $15,000 more to get an engine option where you get 100 pound-feet more of torque. So we'll go through exact power numbers in a moment. But for now, I just want to mention that, that's something to consider, is to get the all-wheel drive version, and it'll cost about $3,000 more. And speaking of deals, let's jump to the next deal. The California Route 1 is a fantastic deal. It's $49,800 as its starting price. It gives you 305 miles of range. And that's really what's special about the California Route 1, other than having a really cool name and a nice look. It's got 18-inch painted black wheels. It only comes as a real rear-wheel drive model, but what really does make it special is that it has a lot of things similar as a premium, like the glass roof, but then it's got its special, unique California Route 1 badging. It's got black painted door cladding and black painted wheel lip molding, so the bottom plastic of the vehicle is painted, and that's really a fantastic look. It's got the memory driver's seat and power folding mirrors, and it's a premium with a big battery. It's got a few things less than the premium has, but it's a great looking model. You can only get it in rear wheel drive mode, but it's a great way to get a vehicle with more range. So it has that 360-degree camera, so it's a bit like a tech package off of a Select. So it's kind of in between the Select and the Premium. So if you're looking for a lot of look, and if you live in an area where you feel rear wheel drive will suit you, well, this is a way to get great range with its 305 miles of range. Now your power, we'll talk about that later, but that's going to be similar to your Select model, non all-wheel drive. So California Route 1 is not a way to get 428 pound-feet of torque. So once again, if you're looking for power, go with an all-wheel drive model. So the premium is $47,000. It will get you 230 miles of range. And this is the first model in which you can get an extended range battery. Now, let's just go over the basics of the premium. It's like a really great looking Select that has both the appearance package and the technology package. Now, the 19-inch wheels on the premium are different than the 19-inch wheels on the Select with comfort package. They're, in my opinion, just a little bit nicer, and the premium is going to give you a fixed glass roof. And that just, looks great. I'll have photos of that coming up in a moment. But the fixed glass roof isn't where it stops. You also have the bottom of the vehicle, all those plastics that we saw on the white model. It's painted. Now here's a first edition, and a first edition is a beefed up premium. So you can really see the look of the premium here, with the bottom of the vehicle being painted. Now in a regular premium, the bottom would be painted gloss black, like you see right here, and it is a looker. So great mags, great look. If you're looking for a lot of look and you want the active, the prep package, if you want all that technology package that could be selected on the Select, and you want extra look, well, the premium is the model for you. Now, something I got to try out on the first edition is the Bang & Olufsen 10-speaker sound system, and it sounds amazing. The Select sound system is really good. I have absolutely no complaints. I'd be very happy to be living with that every day, but the Bang & Olufsen
is amazing, and compared to the F-150, I would say it almost seemed more powerful, but maybe that's just the size of the cabin or the materials used. But I am really impressed by the sound system. So if you are looking for really a high premium, high-end sound system in your vehicle, make sure to get the premium, and just keep in mind that the premium, its real features above the Select is that it's like a really great looking Select, because it has both the tech package and the comfort package that we talked about on the Select model. And it has that sound system, it has the glass roof, and of course the whole bottom of the vehicle, the plastics are painted, and you get the 19-inch mags. So this is the vehicle that's all about look, and it's also the one you can get that extended range battery for. And the extended range battery is going to cost you $5,000 US or 7,000 loonbacks if you're in Canada. And it's going to get you 305 miles. It's going to get you a 0 to 60 time in 6.1 seconds and just a little extra horsepower, 290 horsepower, if you get that extended range battery in rear wheel drive format. And if you get the extended range battery with all-wheel drive, now that's going to cost you $7,700 US. It's going to give you a targeted range of 270 miles. It's an 88 kilowatt hour battery, and your 0 to 60 time is actually really impressive. It's going to get down to 4.8 seconds. And that's because this engine has 346 horsepower. So real performance seekers are going to need to go with a premium all-wheel drive extended battery, or hopefully soon the GT will be available, and that is the beefiest of all options. But with beefy performance comes beefy price. The starting price is $60,500 US, or about 80,000 loonbacks if you're in Canada. And the GT model, you see it right here, it's got a lot of look. And it's not just about look, you're also going to be paying a hefty price for its power. It does 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. That is blistering or lightning fast. It's really impressive. It's worthy of the name Mustang, that's for sure, because the current GT is slower than that. And that's really high-end territory. You're gonna get 250 miles of range when you're not driving like a bat out of hell, and it comes with 20-inch wheels. Now that's currently not available, so you can't build and price it. And just to give you an idea, leasing on a Select, speaking of price, is as low as $501 per month leasing when you have a $4,330 down payment. Now, if you're to purchase that on 72 months with the $7,000 federal rebate, the US federal rebate, with the same cash down of $4,330, you'd have a payment of $625 per month. What I can say about all this is, the US is doing a great job by offering federal rebates on all models. There's none of this, we'll give you a rebate as long as you get an electric vehicle under, a certain price. The Select, California Route 1, and Premium are all available for that rebate, and I wish that was the case, worldwide, wherever you're purchasing. But back to performance of the GT. And I know I've been talking a lot about performance, and we're talking about electric cars here, and a lot of the buyers are all about saving the environment. And this is great and important, and I'm all for this. But I'm still going to talk about power. Not because of the type of ego that I may have that would possibly lend me to believe that I'm better than someone else because my car is faster. That's not at all how I feel. But because of an important, proven scientific formula. And for that, we will need to head to the laboratory. So in recent times, in some unknown laboratory, it was discovered that power plus speed plus time plus distance covered equals acceleration, and that this acceleration has a direct correlation to fun. Now, we have assumed this for millennia. If you go back to the very beginning, fire was invented because, well, drying your meat out is long, and someone figured out it would be much more fun to get the job done faster. After millennia of watching just about everything that flies in the animal kingdom whiz past us at fast speeds, and obviously being greatly envious of this speed, the plane was invented. Oh, and by the way, a lot of people were injured or perished in the pursuit of more speed. So we gotta realize here that speed is definitely worth running after. It's definitely fun, and it's still worth talking about. You know, we went from a time where we had to walk everywhere to, getting the donkey. Then we tamed the horse because the donkey wasn't fast enough and we wanted to go faster than our neighbor and show off our fast horse. We bred horses to make them faster and faster. And for all you snow lovers, I haven't forgotten about you. You guys got the dog sled. Now, for final evidence that this is not merely some archaic caveman mode of thinking, I really need to justify here my talk of power. We still, to this day, invest a great amount of money, research and development in regards to consumer spending to get the latest, fastest cell phone or computer. If you don't believe me, just think how frustrated and how little fun you had the last time your computer or phone froze or ran slowly, or if you're like me, just yesterday morning, arguing with Alexa because she kept trying to sell me stuff. So it's okay to want a lot of power, because at least now we can have our ego, our fun, and economy, efficiency, and have a product that's great for the environment. Now, if you want the peak of that, that's going to be the GT Extra Performance Edition, and that's the model that we've been seeing the 3.5 second 0 to 60 time, and it's going to have over 600 pound-feet of torque. So it is an absolute beast. But enough about power, let's talk about charging. And it's sort of on the same subject. We want to go fast. Well, we want to charge fast as well. So, if you're off the wall, your regular house, 120 volt, 12 amp plug, it's slow. It's going to charge only 5 kilometers per hour. But if you do get a box, a 240 volt, 32 amp box, it's going to do 32 kilometers per hour. So that's much quicker. And if you really go all in, if your house can take it, some electrical boxes won't take this, but a 48 amp, 240 volt charger, so that's a hefty 240 volt charger, you'll get 48 kilometers approximate of charge back per hour you are plugged in. That's great. That's fast, and it goes in line with what we've wanted for thousands of years, and that's to have things be more efficient. Fast equals fun. And now let's jump to the inside of the vehicle. Let's go look through what we're gonna get on the inside. And here I have the inside of a select model that I'm gonna be reviewing, but the screen behind the steering wheel, the 10.2 inch and the 15.5 inch touchscreen in between the two front seats is the same on all models. That's fantastic. Thank you, Ford, for not throwing at us on the select model a much smaller screen. Really appreciate it, and it works great. Now, as we move towards the inside of the vehicle, I'm going to point out that a really nice feature of this is that the vehicle has no door handles installed on the panels. So this gives a really sleek look. And it also allows all models, Ford has phone as a key that you can set up. You got blind spot detection here on all the models. So you got that safety feature on all models, and it's great. You just press this button here and the door pops open. So sleek, stylish, pretty nifty little feature. And this is the select model, and it's got a lot of look. I can't believe how good this interior looks on a standard model. So we've got the, you know, all Mustangs seem to do this. The little door panel that I really like when you open it up. You've got this great, beautiful ActiveX stitched seat. So the stitching looks beautiful, and the material, it looks and feels like leather, but for the most part, it's recycled plastic. So, you know, you can feel good, and, you know, Ford's doing something that's good for the environment, recycling that plastic instead of, you know, shipping it off and who knows what happens to it and where it gets dumped. You got the 12 volt right here, so that's useful. The handbrake is now just a little flip switch that you flip. You've got that transmission dial right there, and there are our screens. So the trunk volume comes in at 4.8 cubic feet. The cargo behind the rear seat gives you 29 cubic feet. And the cargo behind the first row, so all the back seats down, you get 59.6 cubic feet. Now, getting stuff into the trunk is maybe the only possible issue, because you have about 34 inches, but the width is great. You see it right here at 41 at its most narrow. The length is fantastic, because you're getting a full 67 inches of available length. And the height of the tailgate is amazing. With my boots on, I'm 5'11", and I still had ample space to not hit my head. So that's great. Point of frustration on certain models. So it's great. You can just run right around the vehicle and have no issues whatsoever. Now, getting into the vehicle is great in regards to head height. Didn't have any issues with possibly hitting my head. Tons of knee room, so I can really sit comfortably. I don't have to worry about my right knee hitting that center console. Easy to reach the push button. Great interior finish. I love the mix of materials, and the screen looks amazing. You get a 10.2 inch screen right here. Now, of course, that economy that we see right here is based completely on very cold temperatures, about minus 15 degrees centigrade. So here we have the interior of the all-new Mustang Mach E. So just to show a few interesting points on the vehicle. First of all, you'll see in all the videos on the net, this flashing light. Now in the vehicle, these lights here, I don't see them. That's because those are, they're there to detect what's going on your face. In other words, this has the tech package, the autonomous prep package. So this vehicle later on, they're gonna be able to allow you to download a program, and that program is gonna have certain roads all programmed into it, and it'll allow you to, well, drive without driving, I guess you could say, if that doesn't make much sense, but it's where the things are going these days. People want autonomous driving. They don't want to have to drive while driving, if that can be said. And well, this vehicle is already prepped. Now, to make sure you get that option, you have to get a Select with the Comfort Tech package. So you need the tech package, because if you don't have the tech package, you're not going to have the autonomous prep 2.0, and if you don't have that, well, then you're not going to be able to convert this into an autonomous driving vehicle later on by just downloading a program, which I think will be really convenient, really fun for people that have long drives to work. It's going to eliminate the risk of falling asleep at the wheel. And that brings me back to these little points. They're there to actually calculate what's going on in your face, and if it deems that you've fallen asleep, well, it's going to let you know that you need to wake up, because it's still illegal pretty much everywhere, I believe, to drive, well, to have an autonomous driving vehicle that you're not driving but then be asleep while you're driving. Hope this makes sense to someone. It's not making a lot of sense to me, but anyways, that's how the law is written. You can't be sleeping at the wheel of your self-driving car. Now on to the drive system. Pretty neat. You can just start the car up, and when you put it in reverse, I was actually pleasantly surprised, because this is actually parked in what, you know, could sort of be called a display box for taking photos. And you see here, if I let go of the brake pedal, it's not backing up. and it's all set to back up. And if this wasn't an electric vehicle, I would have driven into that wall. So I'm actually pretty happy that I learned it on this vehicle. Valistry Ford has actually graciously allowed me to do a video on their first Mustang Mach E. Now, I really like this touchscreen. I actually love this touchscreen. It's pretty cool. You can zoom in on certain parts of the vehicle. Now, if you don't have kids, you may never use that, but if you do have kids and you really want to see if the favorite toy is going to be in the way, the trajectory of your wheel as you back up, well, you know, you can zoom in and see if that a small object is present. So the zoom in feature, I think, actually will be used by some people. It's not just there to impress. It's the reverse brake assist package. Just to show here, the vehicle comes with the capacity to park itself. Okay, so now I'm in drive mode, and again, vehicle's not going to accelerate on its own the way a mechanical transmission traditionally would. You really got to press here on the gas, and then it's going to drive forward, and as soon as you let go, it's also going to slow down. But that actually brings me to a pretty interesting option here that we have on the screen. So I'm going to find that in just one moment. Okay, so here we've got the main screen for the Mustang Mach E. If you want to go to your options, you get your traditional options right there. What's neat, you can even have access to the owner's manual. So that's a first. I haven't seen that before in a vehicle. That's pretty neat. You can go to edit your profile, play around with, you know, what normally would be your sort of your options menu. Play around with the sound, and the sound in this is incredible. It's pretty impressive. I'll demonstrate that in a moment. Okay, so here we have drive modes. A little bit about each. You've got engage. So that's they say for balanced drive, fun, and engaging. You've got whisper for seamless drive, calm and quiet. If you want to have fun and use up that battery, 428 pound-feet of torque when you get an all-wheel drive model. So that's really what's interesting. For not that much money, you can have the vehicle as an all-wheel drive, and you get the added bonus of getting more torque. I think this has got to be the easiest decision to make in car history. Do I get a rear wheel drive and have less power, or do I pay just a little bit more and have a whole lot more power for only a little bit more money and get an all-wheel drive vehicle? Seems pretty easy to me. So unbridled mode, you've got it's for the exhilarating drive. You'll use up the battery more, and I'll get into detail what that does in regards to motor and steering in just a moment. So these various drive modes are really giving you multiple vehicles in one. And Ford has said that they're going to allow later on downloads of different drive modes. So just to describe the current drive modes, you go from having a really sporty vehicle, because in unbridled mode, the suspension, the brakes, the accelerator and deaccelerator, including the steering, are all going to be more aggressive. Now, to explain the steering, because this has electronically controlled steering, so there's no traditional big mechanical steering wheel box, the ratios can be adapted on your speed. So that's one positive. It's easier to drive at slow speeds and at fast speeds because the ratio between the steering wheel and the wheels adapts to your speed to give you the most comfortable ride. Now, of course, the ratios are going to be more aggressive when you're in unbridled mode compared to, let's say, the whisper mode, the less aggressive mode. Furthermore, what's neat about this system is that it's going to play around with the sound of the vehicle for acceleration and deacceleration. So you'll get kind of a a strong V6 sound out of the vehicle when you're driving in unbridled mode, and whisper mode, well, you'll get less noise, imitated engine noise when accelerating and deaccelerating. And what all of this creates is an experience where if you just want to have a quiet, comfortable ride to work, you can have that. But if you want to go out on the weekend and have a more aggressive drive and have really fun in the bendies, well, this vehicle is going to offer you that as well. So the Mustang Mach E it's not just a 2-in-1, it's endless possibilities to really control and get the type of drive that you want. And because that covers the brakes, the suspension, the steering, the acceleration, and the deacceleration, this is absolutely a fantastic option, making it that it not just can be a shoe that fits all sizes, but can also be that shoe that adapts to you based on how you're feeling currently. So fantastic option. Can't wait to try it out. It's gonna be a blast. The vehicle also has this one pedal driving, which it's just like it sounds. It makes it so that the gas pedal, as soon as you let go of it, the vehicle is going to do almost all the deaccelerating. So you mostly only need to use the gas pedal to move forward and back if you put it in one pedal mode. And I just want to comment, the buttons on the vehicle really react fast. They're great to use. This system, Sync 4, is really great. It understands well and the buttons are great. Now, I just hope with all the available options we have with the screen that journalists don't criticize it, saying it's too complicated because they don't put in, the 15-20 minutes that it takes to learn how to use this screen. This screen's great, and I'd hate to see vehicles move into the future with offering us less options. So let's hope they don't bash on it, because yes, it took me about 5 minutes to adapt to the screen, but once used to it, I love the options. Now, I hope this review has been useful. Now, I know it was really long. It was a full review. So I'm going to be doing short little reviews. For example, just an exterior review, first impressions, just an interior review, just a section talking about, the drive modes coming up soon. So I am going to break up sort of the content of this video. But if you were looking for a full review, I hope this really did help you decide which is the right model for you based on equipment and price. And I hope you stay tuned, and if you did find this useful, please like and subscribe so you get my other videos coming out shortly. And on the topic of videos, I just want to say a huge thank you to those that have been leaving me helpful comments. I do try to incorporate it, and I am trying to get better and make better quality videos. So feedback is great, and liking and subscribing helps me out. But especially a big thank you to people who've been leaving comments in the comment box. So don't stop and stay tuned.